Hello, friends. I think you tag along here for a little good old adventure, a revisit to my old buddy Hillbilly Dean, here in Harlan County, Kentucky, a little community called Cold Iron. We get together and tell a few old stories of old times, the way things are going, what's been going on. Now, this old place, it's a 3-hour drive up here from me, up from the Smokies, up to Minnesboro, Cumberland Gap, up to Pineville, turn right on 119, and about 12-14 miles up there, Southside Smoker, the home of old Hillbilly Dean. Yeah, I get here at this old place early one morning. I left before daylight, and it's a nice drive up here. And it's just a little barbecue place here they'd opened up. It wasn't opened up last year, but they've opened it up early this spring. My old buddy's waiting for me here. Yep, he's old Hillbilly Dean, crazy Hillbilly Dean. Well, I'm hungry, so I thought I'd get me something to eat here before we get started. Well, hello.
Hello, how are you?
How you doing? Doing all right?
Doing good.
Yeah. You got a nice place here.
Well, thank you.
What all you got on the menu here?
Well, we feature pulled pork, baby back ribs. We have St. Louis style ribs. We have the full racks, half racks, quarter racks. We've got pulled chicken. We've got half and quarter chickens. And then our specialty, we have a grippo chicken. And we can make pulled pork nachos, grippo chicken nachos. Those sell really good. We have some specialty sandwiches. We have a Southwest pulled pork that's got Southwest sauce on it and onions. And we've got our slider pulled pork sandwiches. It's 4 little sweet rolls filled with our pulled pork. Everything is smoked fresh every day, smoked right here. We start smoking about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and usually don't quit till about 2 in the afternoon.
Well, that's great. Where's the crowds at this morning?
It's Saturday, so
just opened.
Yep, we just opened and it's Saturday, so it's hit and miss. All depends on what people are out and doing.
And you're selling hot dogs now.
We sell hot dogs, yes.
Well, good. Well, I thank you.
Well, thank you.
Nice place here. I hope y'all do well.
I hope we do too. Tomorrow we're doing, we have a turkey dinner that we're doing tomorrow. We're smoking some turkeys. And we're gonna do it kind of like a Thanksgiving dinner. You get mashed potatoes, green beans with bacon, stuffing, dressing, a roll, and dessert for $18.
Well, that's nice.
And we'll start serving that about 11 o'clock.
And y'all open till 7 every evening?
We're open till 7 every evening, but if somebody calls and orders at 10 minutes to 7, we will wait.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, while I'm waiting on my food, I thought I'd show you the little place right here. It's just about getting ready to open. And it's a nice place. I'd never eat here before. Old Dean's told me a lot about it, but I'm going to check it out. I could smell that smooth food smoking. Well, what you got on the grill in here on this big smoker?
We got pork butts and our baked beans.
Oh, I bet you baked beans is good, ain't they?
That is a family recipe for about 56 years.
Yeah, I love baked beans. Well, what's your name?
I'm Jamie.
Jamie.
Yep.
Well, nice to meet you, Jamie.
Nice to meet you.
Looks good here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
I ordered me some ribs. And oh man, they just fall off the bone. They're so good. And I love baked beans. I really always did. And man, these are some really good baked beans. Tater salad. Man, it's good. Well, anyway, after I eat, me and old Dean head here to the river back behind the place. And it's so peaceful down here. Beautiful. Kind of windy morning though. Boy, ain't it peaceful. I'd love to be throwing over in there. This is the old Cumberland River. Starts here in Harlan, goes all the way past Nashville into the Mississippi River. He showed me some old history here. This is from the river looking back, this little old place. Supposed to rain today. But it's so peaceful here, that traffic. And the old home site that used to be here, the chimneys still stand. They got a picnic pavilion built between it. These old history, these old places here in these mountains. Old mountain people places. And he said there used to be a crossing bridge here. They crossed from the coal mining camp over to the highway. The old road used to be here. All this is gone now. So much history. And here's another thing. That's a big old poplar, buddy. Wonder how old that sucker is. That's 100-year-old at least. It's probably part of this old home place, ain't it?
Yeah, it'd have to be. Way before the...
Well, that's a big...
Back when the old wagon road went through here, probably.
That's seen some history. Now, me and Dean go back a long way. Years ago, we used to fish a lot on these lakes. This is pictures off of North Lake, 46 years ago. And man, we wore these rivers out in these lakes, and we've caught a lot of fish. But that's time gone by. Well, I'm here at Hillbilly Dean's on Highway 119. You can still hear it in the background, but maybe the coal trucks and lumber trucks ain't running today. But anyway, we're down here next to the riverbank. What we can get to, it's so growed up now. I thought I'd talk with him a little bit, let him tell a story or two if I asked him something. Well, this is old crazy Hillbilly Dean. Not just Hillbilly Dean, but crazy Hillbilly Dean. We go way back. We worked in these old coal mines, Hillbilly Dean.
A lot of hours on the ground.
You gonna roll you a cigarette here? Prince Albert?
Kentucky bad.
Yeah.
Nothing but Kentucky bad.
I ain't seen nobody roll a cigarette, and I couldn't tell you how long.
Well, I told you that.
Since grandpas and uncles.
I was a little old bitty fella, 5, 6 years old, at a veteran VFW turkey shoot.
Yeah.
And there's this old veteran, he got his arm cut off at the wrist. And his,
What war was he in?
I reckon he was the Korean War. He'd lost it in it. I was kind of intimidated.
A one-armed vet.
Yeah, and I was fascinated. He was doing grading the targets and stuff.
Yeah.
And he would take one of them old pouches of tobacco, the drawstring sacks, and he, one hand and one nub, he would sit there and roll him a cigarette. It fascinated. I smoked less this place too. If I buy them cigarettes, I smoke them pot.
I know that feeling. Well, anyway, Dean, you got a nice place here.
And my buddy tries, we've been having trouble getting our bush hogs and weed eating guys and everything lined up. Nobody wants to work for them. I'm about too old.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you know, just tell me some old stories. I've told that story before, but if you want to tell it again in your own words, you remember you growing up, you said you used to go to an old house out there in the country.
Well,
with kids running around.
It was kind of way out. I grew up in Middle Tennessee, down there way out in the country in Las Casas, next to Murfreesboro. And it was just an old single lane gravel road with turnouts. when I was a kid. You drove through the creek on one hand and to get to it. But there's an old log house, big, beautiful square cut log. And it was, nobody that ever lived there that I know of ever had. And I started roaming when I was 7, 8 years old, got my first shotgun when I was 8. So I was constantly out roaming. And that house over there, I go check it out and stuff. It's real cool, an old farm and stuff like that. It's been all abandoned many, many, many years before. We were there's kind of a gully distance between our houses on the hill and stuff down there. And from our house up there, in the summer and stuff, I would hear kids playing down there. Like kids playing in the yard, running around, They never would. I would go, I would try to see if maybe some, but I would hear that off and on, as I was growing up. And I got to where I really didn't pay much attention to it. Because I thought,
but there never was no kids there.
Never was nobody. The gate was growed up and,
but you'd hear a bunch of kids playing. And nobody there.
No. I don't know. The holler, well, they wasn't really hollers down in that country. It was more, not like these places.
It ain't Harlan County.
No. But I don't know what I thought. I put it off to atmospheric, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I said, I never actually seen anything that I can swear was a ghost.
Well, you down there in Murfreesboro when you were small, down there around Stones River. I'd love to go down there and milk detective. What detective, just out in the countryside.
They had that big 6-mile long berm they had built up around there. We used to go play, or not play, I was a teenager when we went on.
Defensive wall.
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably all gone now, dude.
Now probably, but when I was growing up, teenager, you could go out there and do anything you wanted to do, metal detect or whatever. Well, you couldn't in the park. They had parks and fields about it.
Yeah, you can't. There goes a log. I thought you told me they didn't run on Saturday.
Them the poor boys. The professional loggers don't really run on Saturdays, but the poor boys that work for their sales.
They're all poor boys up here.
Anyway, there's one thing about it though, every piece of coal, every log goes out of here. And which that makes jobs at times.
Yeah. This place, well, there's still a lot of coal mines here. This is a booming place, buddy, coal mines.
Right up to the next holler up there, Harlan Street was the first Terry Fort.
When I first got out,
was in Harlan County.
I first got out of school, I worked for a place called Kirk Electric in Minnesota. All I done was electrical work. I remember I come up here at 3 Point and put in a unit train, load out. What did that? That was an all summer job. And worked right out around these little old, and it seems the coal wasn't this high in the middle.
That's where I started.
Them little bitty mines. I'd just go in there to wash something up or something. No. I worked in the coal mines most of my life, but I ain't working no Wilcox mine.
Well, that wasn't the bad part to me. That was about 30 inches. We used 28, 29-inch timbers with 1-inch capboard.
Oh, I've worked
but
30-inch
that blue gym,
yeah.
That 24-inch seam over in Knox County.
I heard up there around Barberville, like you said, Knox County up in there. I heard it, the seams was so low that a number 5 coal shovel, if you took it in wrong, there wasn't enough clearance in the top to turn the shovel back over. You'd have to find a high spot or go back outside to turn your shovel. No, like pictures I'm showing right here now. I can't stand to work in that low now. I've worked all my life in the mines,
But 30
crawling
inches
around,
is,
crawling.
yeah, 30 inches is great compared to that
17,
blue
18
gill.
inch cold. Well, you're just crawling, buddy. Your shoulders, if you turned on your side, your shoulder would hit the top, the other shoulder would hit the bottom.
We went through a few scenes like that,
Oh, my
squeezes
gosh.
and stuff, but we would end up having to shoot the top out to get equipment through.
But you know, I've told a lot of coal mining stories on my channel, and a lot of coal miners has watched it. But most people could care less about us coal miners. It's not in the fad of the way the wind blows nowadays. You know, like coal's the enemy. Well, coal built this country, buddy. Coal, what made this country what it is. It kept the lights on everywhere for everybody.
Still does.
Over 100 years, and it still does. But I don't know. Us old country people, our generations are dying off, and we're just slowly being forgotten. And I just like to share a story of our old people, our ways, our culture, our way of life, how they made a living, and that's just what I like to share.
These young people these days would not believe
Well, I know they
how
won't,
we work.
they won't do nothing like that.
My son brought my grandson up here. It's been about a month or so ago.
Now, when we was growing up, Dean, there was such things as food stamps and commodity food, stuff like that.
Love the cheese.
But that's what it was set up for, is the underfortunate people. But most people, if you wanted anything, you had to go out and make a living. Well, if you stayed in these mountains, that was the only living there was. Decent money, okay? Unless you was moonshining or something. It was either logging or mining. And if you owned a big piece of land, you know, farming or something. But most people didn't own land, big little tracts of land. They just lived in little bitty,
barely enough for bars.
just lived in little old shacks up these hollers, worked in the coal mines. Old man did every day at a house full of kids. And people just look at us like, y'all just dumb hillbillies. Well, no, not all of us. And it just hurts me that our way of life and culture is being slowly forgotten and just overlooked, not told in the history books like it should be. They don't even teach it in school.
Well, I think you're doing one of the great services to our culture as far as recording all of it and talking about all of it. And it'll be here in how many ever years the world lasts, or computer cloud, or
I guess.
whatever, in the ether.
I can only hope so, but
Well, I think the historians will be 100 years from now. They'll be checking out the videos on our culture.
well, I've got 1,000 videos on YouTube, but you're only as good as your last video. That's what I've always come to realize. They just can't sit there and ride and people watch them because they're not being shown. And if you like my channel, all you gotta do is just go to my channel, Donnie Law's YouTube, and go down the playlist. YouTube's not gonna show all them old videos. And there's a lot of great old videos about our history. Either it be metal detected, it'd be metal detected, mining, Appalachian history, church history, culture. I don't know. I sometimes get so just depressed. I'm not with the new crowds, new generation.
I'm not either. I grew up young in the 60s. I was born in 1959, and we still had really close. I grew up in Middle Tennessee. I was born in Sandusky, Ohio, and then Mom didn't like the Michigan.
Where'd you get this from? Huh? Where'd you get this from?
This is my rebellion, my retirement from the real world. I I don't shave.
I guess when you had that Easter egg hunt up here, didn't you? You scared the little kids off, didn't you?
Well, I tried to stay in the background.
You'd made one ugly bunny rabbit.
Kids like when the Family Dollar was still going, I had a deal worked up there. I'd buy a sucker and they'd give them away for me to the kids.
Yeah.
And I missed that. And they did a lot of little kids.
Bless them little kids' heart.
And
They don't understand, but this old world changes so much that they're going to have a hard time, buddy.
I don't know what it's going to come to. I just have faith in what our grandchildren that I know of, my grandson.
Yeah, mine too.
And mine. Well, like I said, my 17-year-old grandson, middle grandson, he scored 100% on the asphalt. He's going into the Air Force, whatever's open. They said he could have his choice.
It's like my grandson. He's in the Army Reserves, and I reckon his unit's going to Iraq this September to relieve another unit for a year.
Well, Iraq's where they
And I can only pray for him.
Your son, Jason, he done his share.
Yeah, my son was in Airborne for 7 years, but he was in between wars, you know.
He was ready for any of it, though. I have to admire some of our youth for sure.
Boy, that river sure looks good. I'd like to be down there with a rooster tail throwing over in them little shows.
Well, I showed you my honey hole over there.
That's what we need to be doing.
I drug half a dozen 16, 18 inches out of there.
Small ones?
Tons of small ones. Yeah, small. You'll catch 10 little ones.
Well, it's fun just to catch them red eyes. Them red eyes is fighters, buddy.
Well, you have to go along the banks on them.
I just don't want to run into a copperhead there with me.
There's a lot of beavers in here, too.
Yeah.
I was up like...
You know, we was growing up, Dean, in these mountains. There wasn't no game.
No.
Because, you know, they come out of depression in the 30s and there was no jobs, there's no nothing. And people had to live off the game. Well, they about annihilated the game. They made them so scarce that you had to... I remember Dad would take me hunting when I was a small boy. We'd have to walk a mile to go back in the mountain to find a squirrel. And there wasn't no such thing as a deer. And I never even know the turkey exists. First turkey I seen was in the 80s. Now they're everywhere.
Have to fuel them out of the road.
You see my wildlife videos. Progress is pushed and took all the little places away from these animals. Unless you're in the deep, big mountains where progress is going on, they eliminate their habitat for these animals, and it pushes them back into smaller little pockets where that's the only place you got to live. Well, they're on the ridge, I just leave them alone. Let them do their thing and just film them in their natural habitat. Don't hunt them. Don't let nobody hunt them. The only thing that hunts them is coyotes and bobcats, you know.
They got a hard enough time with them.
I just want it to be nature. But I won't last forever. It'll get sold out and they'll be pushed on back even further. You know, and it's sad, but that's the price of progress.
You got a beautiful place right at the edge of a little wild paradise.
Well, it's like a little game reserve there.
Yeah.
So many people's asking, hunt this, can hunt? No. I can't let nobody hunt.
That's like
if you ever shoot at these little animals, then they will never come around these cameras again. Well, anyway, Dean, you got a nice place here, buddy.
Yeah, my buddy Tony.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Maybe later this summer, if things work out right, we could have a meet and greet for my channel only up here. maybe one of the local channels here in Harlan County, but we might do that one Saturday.
I promise it'll be a lot neat and mowed and weed-eated by then.
Yeah.
We're having labor problems and equipment problems.
Yeah, I know that. Seems like when I mow grass, I spend half my time working on the lawnmower than I do mowing it.
We just put new blades and new belts on that one.
Seems like today's society is a throwaway society. They want you every year to buy a new car or a new lawnmower every 2 years, new refrigerator, new stove, new boat. They want what? You want to stay in debt like that?
Used to, I could work on something. If something tore up, if my drill, my saw, my whatever, if it tore up, I could fix it.
Well, you know, same
You
way.
could go buy brush kits, you could do whatever you need.
Well, same way with an old car and truck. You just pull it up under a tree, jerk the motor out of it, but you can't work on vehicles nowadays. They're computer on wheels, and you can't work on them.
I didn't grow up that way.
I'd like to be trying to work on a drone over here. I was going to film the mountain range. Wow. It wouldn't, I couldn't get the firm up wire loaded in it, so it wouldn't run. Worked on that for 2 hours. Waste of time.
The world has definitely passed me by, and they're welcome to it. You say
There ain't no sense in it being that way, but it is.
I'm tired of the rat race.
And you both.
And I'm in a position to where I can do it.
Yeah. Well, Dean, thanks for talking with me, man.
Well, anytime. I wish I could think of a little cool stories, but some of them not very appropriate for your channel. Some of the misadventures and crazy hillbilly Dean's life.
Yeah, crazy hillbilly Dean. Well, this is crazy hillbilly Dean. I don't know what this crap is, though.
That's my rebellion against society.
Well, anyway, buddy, thank you for talking to me. Anytime,
Good
old
to
buddy.
see you, sir.
All right. Old Dean, he's a crazy one now, that's for sure. But he's been a good friend all these years, and we love to get together. And I got together with another bunch wanted to meet me up here. Some good people, the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. It's a local YouTube channel out of Harlan, Kentucky. Here we pose with some pictures. Ignited Coyote, a nice group of people. Now, he's got a channel here that's locally out of Harlan that covers stories and the happenings around southeast Kentucky. And they're really great if you want to check them out. Here's their YouTube channel. Yes, they wanted to interview me, so I sat down, let them ask me some questions, and I answered them. They'll probably have a little interview of me on their channel just a little bit later. Really nice people. And I got to meet one of their father here, 85 years old, an old coal miner. He's on oxygen, bless his heart. You're an old coal miner, buddy. What's your name?
Mac Arthur.
How long you worked in the mines, old buddy?
I guess about 30 years.
30 years. Hand loading?
Most of it was, yeah.
Out there an old Wilcox miner.
And then Wilcox, and then
Well, God bless you, buddy. Us old coal miners are just about all gone. Well, I head out of there. It's a 3-hour drive from these mountains back to the Smokies, and it started raining on me. But I love being up here in these old mountains. So I hope you like these little stories. Thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you next time.